Los Angeles City College students graduating summa cum laude were invited to compete to represent for the class of 2013 Honors Student Speaker. The selection committee had a very difficult time selecting today's student speaker. However, it is with great acclaim that I invite to the podium your 2013 Honor Student Speaker, Ms. Laura Diamond.
Bonsoir tout le monde. That's what that sounds like. So I scrapped my speech and I wrote 4 minutes of stand-up for my husband instead. So it is my great honor and even greater surprise to be standing here before you today, my fellow graduates, our faculty, students, families of LACC. 3 years ago, when most of my classmates were graduating high school, I was transitioning from a different kind of life. I'm what they call here a returning student, which means I tried to do this before, actually several times, and it didn't work out. Out of high school, I enrolled in Cal State Long Beach, but I was not a good student. I hated disappointing my mother, who's sitting back there. She has great love and respect for education, but I lacked focus. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be. And when I got a C in my first art class, I was an art student, I got very frustrated and I dropped out. My story and my life are way too long for this address, but I will attribute my return to school in the spring of 2010 to an act of desperation, and my subsequent success to maturity, a lifetime of experiences, and an amazing support team. My family, 4 of my children included, who have all gone through to college and have been coaching me through this. My mom, of course, that I've mentioned. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge my husband at this time, who has been supporting me so that I could focus on my studies. And I would not be standing here if it were not for him. And he also gave me the word remiss. Thanks. There is also a whole support system here at LACC, just wanting to help us if we ask for it. The foundation, who granted me scholarships every semester that I applied. The OSS, that is our Office of Special Services, and our Pi Shop, our math lab, who helped me through 4 semesters of math. Statistics, this past semester, nearly got me. We have amazing teachers here. Our social sciences department changed my life. Gail Partlow of the art department has been my left leg on this journey. I hope you're here, Gail. I will miss her class most of all. My peer mentor from UCLA with the CCC program at the transfer center. Even Harry's food truck. Harry's food truck, right? On more than one occasion, Harry's fed me with a promise of, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a veggie burger today. Okay, if you laughed at that, you're old. It is actually what I learned here that is what meant so much to me at LACC. And I don't really have time for all of that. I could talk for hours just about rocks, what I've learned about rocks. Thank you, Dr. Lawrence. However, through the course of my study, it is Frederick Douglass who became one of my heroes. For those unfamiliar with him, Frederick Douglass, thank you, was an abolitionist born slave who taught himself to read and write and escape to freedom. In his freedom, he didn't just go live a quiet life somewhere. Douglass spent most of his life speaking out and writing to put an end to slavery and for pursuing civil rights for African Americans. often by befriending and influencing very powerful white men like Abraham Lincoln. Douglass first discovered the secret of slavery when he was a very young boy, listening to his master, Mr. Auld, chastising Mrs. Auld for teaching him to read. He told her, besides being unlawful and unsafe, teaching him to read would only make him unfit to be a slave, unmanageable to his master, discontented and unhappy. Douglass writes, from that moment, he understood the direct pathway from slavery to freedom, and that Mr. Auld had little idea the use to which he was capable of putting the lesson he was giving to his wife. After learning to read and write, Frederick Douglass found that Mr. Auld had been right. It made his life of slavery even more intolerable. He felt at times that his learning had been a curse instead of a blessing. I actually have felt that in some of our social sciences classes. Eventually, though, he wrote himself a pass to the north and he escaped to freedom. It's the importance of education for its own sake. That is what my education has taught me. This changes everything. It's the path to freedom, starting with our minds. What I didn't understand when I was young is that my education would change the way I think about and do everything, if I let it. It's not just about getting our degree. It's not just about getting a good job. It's about the person that it will make me if I let it. The person it makes us if we let it. I am not the same person that I was in the spring of 2010 when I got here. And I would reckon most of you aren't either. So it is my job as, we're not calling me valedictorian, but I'm filling that role to bid farewell to you from the class of 2012 as we go our separate ways. I am off to UCLA in the fall, which I recently found out I'm getting a full ride. And I feel like I'm going to Disneyland or something. This is where my mother got her BA, when I was 4 years old, actually. I still don't know what I want to be. Sorry, young students. I am 51. I still don't know what I want to be. But I am more excited than ever to find out who it is that I will become, and that all of you will become. So go out there and do it. Thank you.